We're up to episode number 89 now, and in this episode we're going to talk about how sometimes life needs some adjustment, and I'm in the middle of making some fairly, not major adjustments, but for my understanding and my attitude, they're a little more major than I had wanted them to be. But I'm going to tell you about those, and then I'm going to tell you also about another addiction that I realized I've had. I'm not going to get rid of it, though, and I'm going to tell you what that is in this episode. Coming up, Road Noise, Life 1 Mile at a Time. Welcome into another episode of Road Noise, Life 1 Mile at a Time. I'm your host, Michael Blackston, and this is my audio life journal where I tell stories, offer opinions, and try to hand out wisdom that I've learned from years of working, husbanding, fathering, and just living life day by day. If you're wondering what you're hearing under the sound of my voice, that's the sound of the road as I commute, hence the reason I call the show Road Noise. You're sitting alongside me in the passenger seat, and together we're learning to live life 1 mile at a time. The clock on my dashboard says 6:24 a.m. This is being recorded on December, I think today is the 5th. It's either the 5th or the 6th. It's a Tuesday morning on 2017. So if you really care that much, you can go look at your calendar. But it's either the 5th or the 6th. I think it's the 5th. Anyway, I am headed to Sumter, South Carolina this morning. That's where the commute is taking me to do some etching. And then my son's got a band concert tonight. So it's about a 3-hour drive. And I'm going to find myself turning around about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and driving back home. So this day is going to be a 3-hour commute, one way, 6 hours on the road in one day. And then I'm going to get up in the morning and drive it again to finish the work I've got to do. But to me, the band concert for Christmas for my son is very important. I don't want to miss those even if there's any way possible. Sometimes I'm too far away to actually be able to come home, but Sumter is close enough to where I feel like I can go ahead and make that commute and it won't be too bad. And I'm going to be able to see Noah's band concert. And the things that you realize you're missing sometimes too late can give you a little bit of a kick in the butt and make you think, I need to make some changes in my life. Even when I've made some changes recently and added some things to it that I was very excited about and saw big things on the horizon and made big plans for, are already at a point where it's time to let them go. It's time to make some big boy decisions. And that's what I've had to do recently because of things like being present at my children's activities as they grow, because they're just growing up too fast. I looked day before yesterday. My son had been on a trip with my mom. She likes to take him and his sister to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a couple of times a year, and they always go at Christmas. He's got a cousin over there that he's grown up playing with. In fact, they play Xbox Live all the time. They stay in communication with each other, but they never see each other except for a couple of times a year. So they went and had their Christmas early at Myrtle Beach. My stepdad is from Myrtle Beach, and that's where his family lives. And when Noah came back from that weekend trip, it was like he'd grown 2 inches over the weekend. And I'm not joking, that's what it seemed like to me. That's how it felt, because I didn't remember him being as tall when he left as he was when I went to pick him up Sunday night. And that threw me. Now, the changes I am talking about making in my life, I'd already made the decision to do that. But this just solidified exactly what had been on my mind, that it's happening so fast now. And you've always heard that from parents, that, don't miss it. Enjoy them while you have them, because you're going to blink and they're going to be grown and they're going to be doing their own thing. They're not going to have as much time for you. And they love you, but they're starting to become their own person, and they're not going to be as reliant on you as a parent to get by. They're going to start figuring out what it means to have some independence on their own. And I'm seeing that happen in my son, and then again, my daughter, who's 4.5, it seems like she's making maturity leaps and bounds constantly. I mean, every day it's new. One day she's a 4-year-old, barely out of being a toddler, and 24 hours later, she's a little girl on the way to being a teenager and adopting some of those attitudes that I'm going to get to look forward to in a teenage girl. But, so what are the things that I'm making some changes on? And how can they help you as a listener by me telling you these stories? Well, I think what I'm trying to get to is the lesson I want you to learn that I'm having to learn now is to take stock a little more carefully, maybe a lot more carefully, in the plans I make. Here's one of the things I'm doing. I've been talking for a while now, and you probably remember me talking about this, about starting a side business because I would like to stop traveling so much. And I've gone back and forth on how I wanted to do it. Did I want to do etchings like I do, but on a smaller scale so that I can ship them to people and start that? And that's going to be part of the service that I offer. Do I adopt laser etching techniques and start looking into the equipment for that? And that's something I'm thinking about. The art side of things, as you know, I'm an artist, is really where I've started hitting heavily. Because my idea is this: I can make art now, paintings. I'm not looking to sell paintings for, $1 million. I'm not planning to be the guy in New York, although I would love for something I did to be respected enough to be put in a gallery in New York or something like that and have a, $500,000 price tag on it. I would love that. What artist wouldn't? But the reality of being a professional artist is that you do things from your heart, but you also are able to take those things and make a buck from them. At least that's I'm not trying to make art to make a buck, but I am trying to make art to do what I love. I want to make a living doing what I love, and art is the thing. So how do I turn a buck and set up a future business by doing the things I love and creating pieces of artwork that come from my heart and my soul? Honestly. So that's what's been on my mind. Well, here's what I've realized. It takes time to create art like that. I could churn out 30-minute paintings or hour-long paintings that people would want to buy. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to be known as the guy who churns out kitsch. Is that what they call it? Just something to turn a buck. I'm not in it to turn a buck, but I need to make a living, and I do want to make a living in the future. I'm going to etch as long as I can, but if I start being able to do things from home and spend more time with my family, which is the goal, the quicker I can do that, the better. While at the same time doing art that means something. Okay, so that's one thing. I've decided I'm going to have to spend time, hours and hours, and even more hours of work, and then selling the originals, but at the same time having prints made so that I can sell quality prints of my work till the day I die. And to me, that is a huge landing point for starting my business and where I am really casting my anchor, if you will. Because I believe that, if I'm 90 years old, between 44 or 45 years old and 90, if I live to be that long, that's a good 45 years plus of doing art that I can sell prints of to people. And the prints I can sell as many as I want. And when I'm too old to hold a paintbrush, I can still make sales enough to get by. And that's my goal, at least. Okay, so that's one part of the business. But it hit me the other day that I want to also, in order to be able to kind of make the transition from etching into other kinds of business that would keep me at home, I realize the world is going to e-commerce. Every year, my wife does more and more shopping online. Not just at Christmas, but all through the years, just gets more and more where it's more convenient for her to do that. And as I look around, I realize there are some people who do their shopping exclusively online now, and it's getting to that. I don't think brick and mortar retail will ever completely go away, but if you study economics and you know the trends, you'll see that brick and mortar, it's harder and harder as time goes by for those places to stay in business. And the thing is, digital is the way to go, and e-commerce. The beautiful thing about that is there are lots of ways to make money passively. And what that means is while you're sleeping. I'm talking about putting a whole lot of work into something up front so that you can reap the rewards later and do less with it later, although you still have to maintain it. And I've decided I'm going to get involved with affiliate marketing. I've looked into it for a while, I've studied it for a while, and I've gone back and forth on things to do, and I think affiliate marketing is going to be probably the best way to go to be passive while I can put enough work into it to really work hard. And the harder I work, the better I'll do. But it takes out the stuff I don't like dealing with. I love that I am Mr. Customer Service. But after a while, it gets to the point where you say, I don't want to do that anymore. I enjoy people, but I want to do something where I do my job exactly as told and I'm done. Now, there will always be some modicum of customer service in retail, but the way affiliate marketing works is you set up a partnership with a company that provides all of the services. They provide the product, they provide the shipping, and they provide the customer service. If something doesn't get to the customer, they call the customer that is the affiliate partner, not you. Basically, you're a middleman. You're a broker. And so it hit me the other day that, and that's, I'm coming around to how I decided I wanted to do this affiliate marketing thing. We never know what to get to for my father for Christmas. And every year, my sister and I, 3 times a year, have the same conversation. At Christmas, what are you getting Daddy? I don't know. He doesn't like gift cards. He hates getting gift cards. He would rather you make him something. But my sister and I, who are both artists, have given him so much art, he has nowhere else to put art. We don't know what to get him. He buys what he needs. He is not short on money, at least, he's not poor, is what I mean. If he needs something, he can get it. So what do you get for the man who has everything and needs nothing and doesn't want a gift card? Same thing at Father's Day, same thing for his birthday. We had the same conversation, and it dawned on me, I wish I had a place where I could go for that. For the what do you get for the guy? What are some ideas? Well, I know that a new business that offers that solution won't have all of the solutions, but it could be a help. And it hit me that maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should start an online company that's geared toward what do you get for the people you don't know what to get for. Because I bet my sister and I are not the only people who had that conversation during holiday and gift-giving seasons. And that seems to me something that I can hit on. I know there are other companies that do that too, but let's see if I can get in the game and come up with a new way to put my stamp on it. Here's what you need to know about doing something like that. Again, it requires time. I have a lot of stuff going on in my life. I've said before, over and over again, I've made the comment, I have too many irons and too many fires. And after thinking this through, I decided stuff in my life has to go. Things that I love in my life have to go if I'm going to make a go of this, because I really believe this could be the thing that launches me into the next chapter of doing business online. Something that will launch me into being able to build the other business of selling my prints. I'm going to be partnering with Amazon. Amazon, I've actually already set it up as an affiliate, so I've got that ready to go. I'm ready to start using their products to put on my site. And basically what I'm going to be doing, the site, by the way, is called unwrapped.com. It's UNWRAPD. You take out one of the P's and the E at the end, and it's the one of the new fancy ways of spelling it. And I spent 2 hours just yesterday on top of several other hours all the last few weeks trying to come up with a good website and a good way to brand this. And I came up with Unwrapped, UNWRAPD.com, and I found out that domain was available, and I was like, boom, and I got it. So unwrapped.com, and it is going to be, I hope, a boon for my wife and I. It's a lot of work, though, and I'm having to put time into it. If you start something like this, you have to dedicate a lot of time. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to throw up a little website with some affiliate links and wait for the money to roll in. No, it doesn't work that way. If you want something that is catching to the eye, you have to put thought into it. If you want something that is catching to the ear when people hear the branding, you got to put thought into it. If you want something that is going to attract people in advertising, you got to put thought into it, and you got to put time and effort and work. My fingers hurt because yesterday I struggled starting to get the website started, building. I'm using Wix.com because I love the way it builds, and I saw several articles. Another thing, I had to research the best website builder for doing affiliate links, and I saw several that kind of led me to believe that Wix is probably the way I want to go. And I am very familiar with Wix. It's my favorite web builder, even though it can be slow at times as far as the builder goes. But it's got a lot of functionality to it that probably slows it down, which makes it worth the while because it's so easy. But my computer is a Toshiba. And let me tell you, I will never buy another Toshiba. It's basically, at least mine, crap. And if anybody else is online at the same time in the house, my Toshiba will not handle it. There's nothing wrong with the Wi-Fi service. It's running fine, giving me plenty of bandwidth. It's just that there's something about when other people are online, I cannot get my Toshiba to run, and it's constantly getting caught up and freezing and running slow. So if somebody else is online, I can't build my website. Ended up having to start it yesterday when nobody else was in the house. And I started building it. And it is going to take hours and hours and hours just to build the website. Then I've got to start finding the products and adding every individual product to every individual category on every individual page. And there are a lot of pages on this site because what I've done is I've broken it down into several different categories so that it'll be easy for people to weed out exactly who they're trying to buy for. I got dads and guys, moms and gals. I've got artists. I've got theater lovers. I've got animal lovers. And then when you go into each of those categories, it breaks it down. Animal lovers, whether you like dogs and cats. With moms and gals, I've got not only moms, but general gals. I've got brides. I've got wives. I've got grandmothers. And each one will have their own page, so you can go to it and say, Michael has found this gift on Amazon that would be good, and then you click on it, it takes you to your Amazon account, and then you buy it from Amazon, and that's how affiliate links work. The main thing that I've decided I'm going to stop doing, and it's funny I would mention this week after last week being thankful for podcasting, my brand new My Everything Art show that I have spoken about for a year or more, and I've been excited about, and I've worked on trying to get it going. I've done the branding and the artwork, and I've got it up and running, and everything's been, I'm very proud of the first 6 episodes, I think, actually. I cut it off. I canceled it. There are 6 episodes of the My Everything Art show, and if I'm not mistaken, as of now, you can't even get them, even if you have subscribe to them. They're not available anymore. They're not streaming from Libsyn. I dammed up that supply because of two things. A, I was finding it hard to make time to record the episodes in a consistent manner anyway, because something like that requires, not like this show. This show the setup is really simple. I've got a microphone attached directly to the USB port on my computer, which is sitting beside me in the passenger seat. That's you. And I'm recording into it. I hit record, I hit stop. That's it. That's the setup. It's really simple. That's why you're hearing road noise. I'm not worrying about noise canceling anything. I do a little in post-production, but that's about it. You get what you get, and you either like it or you don't. It's a really easy show to do, except sometimes I have to put some thought into coming up what I want to talk about. Show notes wise, in this show, I don't put very much at all anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore because it's really not necessary. It's not the type of thing that has a whole bunch of links into it anymore that I need to link to. And basically, if you're going to listen to a life journal, I'd rather you listen to it anyway. I'm not going to have you read it. So I'm not going to put a whole lot of time into that. The My Everything Art show required a blog. I mean, you're talking about, I was writing at least probably 1,200 words per blog episode for the show notes, and having to construct shows in a way that was helpful to artists. It was too much work, and I wasn't in love with it. I love doing radio. I love getting behind the microphone. So podcasting gives me that. But I have this show, and from time to time it can get a little inconsistent depending on my mood or what things are going. But on a show like the My Everything Art show, where you need to have kind of a more professional feel to it, you got to be consistent, and you need to be in love with it. And I was neither. I realized that. And so I dropped the My Everything Art show already after 6 episodes, and I was so excited about it before, and I could be excited about it again, but until I get where I can have everything set up, keep it set up, don't have to set up, tear down, do all the... I'm not there yet. And that's, I think, what I mean when I say take stock of your plans and think on it a little harder. I wish I had thought to myself, where do I want to be in 5 years? What do I really want to do? How do I need to get there? What is it going to take of my time? And how much of that do I want to take away from my family? I didn't think through all of those things, and I really wish I had, because I've wasted a bunch of time doing things that really are of no benefit to me. And there are other things too, and I won't get into them. For one thing, theater. I love doing theater, but I've had to turn down some theater recently because it takes time away from my family. So unless it's something that I have always wanted to do, right now I do 1 show a year if I really badly want to do it. And if it's just kind of a ho-hum thing, it's not going to do it. Because I love theater, but it's not benefiting me. In fact, it's hurting me when you compare it to time that it takes away from my family. When my kids are grown, I may do all the theater in the world. My wife may constantly do every play when my kids are out of the house. But right now, my kids are the most important, and they are growing up too fast. And I don't want to miss any more of that than I already have. So from now on, I'm going to do a lot of thinking before I make any decisions. I'm going to take a good long look before I leap. And I think that's something that maybe we all need to do. I'm not telling you not to do the things you enjoy. I'm just saying, before you pull the trigger, make sure you've got all of the information and you've thought about it on a deeper level. I think that'll help all of us, and it's a maturity thing. As I grow, I learn and mature. Something my mom said over and over again is, you'll learn. You don't think so now, but... And I used to hate it when she would say that, but I'm starting to get it. And I have an addiction. My wife says it's an addiction. I am not sick of, I am sick on The Office. the television show, the NBC show that is now gone, 9 seasons. That show ran, and for the most part, at least while Steve Carell was in the lead as Michael Scott, it was the number one, or one of the number one shows on NBC, and it was consistent. Won a bunch of awards. Everybody loved it. People fell in love with the characters. And then when Michael left, it started going downhill, and after about 3 seasons, I think, without Michael, Steve Carell's character, the show ended. So 9 seasons of The Office. I started watching it about halfway through its run, fell in love with it, and now Netflix keeps it, the entire series. So at least once a year, I start at episode 1, season 1, and I watch them back to back to back. I know what's going to happen in every episode. I know a lot of the script because I remember scripts easily, and so I know what's coming up. But I love that show and the way that it was filmed and just the natural feel of it, even amid all of the ridiculousness of the things they were saying and doing, and some stuff that, as a Christian, I have to kind of back off on. There are things I wish they hadn't done and said. It could get raunchy at times, but as an overall work, I believe she's right. I believe I'm addicted to it because I just finished, about 3 weeks ago, I just finished the entire series for the 5th time. And did you know that 1 week later, I am considering starting it all over again? Just a week later, as I can't get enough of The Office. You would think after watching the entire series, 9 seasons of an entire series, 5 times, that'd be enough. You can move on. And I do. I'm watching other stuff. I'm trying to get through Stranger Things right now. I keep forgetting I've got about 3 more episodes of season 2 of Stranger Things. I've got 2 or 3 episodes left of The Punisher on Netflix. I love all of that stuff. All of the CW shows, The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl. I love all that type of thing. But I always go back to The Office. Michael Scott, Jim and Pam, Dwight Schrute. I love it. And I don't know that I think I'm going to try to hold off till after January, but I think in January I might start back with season 1, episode 1. I know, it's a sickness. It's a sickness. It is 7 o'clock on the dot, according to my dashboard, so I have run my mouth, and the editing on this episode may be substantial because I really don't want to say the same thing over and again that I've said in the previous sentence. My wife tells me I ramble on these things, so hopefully I can edit this down to something that is at least halfway passable and entertaining to you. Do me a favor. I want you to share this podcast if you like it. That's the best way for people to learn about me. I had somebody binge listen to and download a whole bunch of my catalog of this podcast earlier in the week. That's always a great thing. And so I know that there are people who enjoy what they're hearing here, and I appreciate you for sticking with me. But if you do like it, share it. Do me a favor and just share it. And I would also love another review or 2, at least, on iTunes. I've only got 1. I'm in 89 episodes. I've only got 1 review, and that's from a friend of mine. I didn't ask him to make the review other than just the normal calls to action I do at the end of this episode, or this podcast, on most episodes. But Zach Gerald did decide he would step up and go about a year ago to iTunes and leave me a review. Well, they made it a lot easier now if you're listening to it in the iTunes app or the Apple Podcast app. So if you're listening to it on an iPhone and you've got the Apple Podcast app, if you click on the icon, if you're subscribed, and you click on the icon for the show and you bring up the show, down at the bottom, there's a way to actually write a review in iTunes right there from your phone. It used to be that you had to go pull up iTunes on your computer. There really wasn't a way to do it like that. They've made it so simple now. You can rate and review the show right from your phone real quick. So if you've got a minute, don't do it if you're driving, but if you get a minute, run to the app and give me a review. I would love to hear what you're thinking, and so would anybody else who comes across it who thinks maybe I should listen to this, but let me see what other people think. So help me out that way if you don't mind. If you'd like to get in touch with me, here's how you can do it. I have a voicemail line at 706-408-7456, but if you don't want to put your voice on the air or you don't want to call, then you can also leave me feedback via the email, which is feedback@michaelblackston.com. That's feedback@michaelblackston.com. And if you'll go ahead and leave me some feedback there, I would love to hear what you think. Otherwise, you can comment at the website. Everything else you need is right there on the website, roadnoisepodcast.com. So until next time, I'm Michael Blackston. Thank you so much for sitting alongside me in the passenger seat as we learn to live life 1 mile at a time.